Morning, everybody. How are we all doing? Happy Monday, Soul Trader. Morning, FTNet, Barry, Evil. How are we doing? Hope you had good weekends. Didn't do anything exciting at the weekend. Much. Gym, usual stuff. No, didn't do anything this weekend. Right. So, today's Monday. We're going to have a look at the news as usual. See what's happening with the indices this morning on the DAX and the FTSE. Go through the zones. Have a look at the RSI extensions, ADRs, usual stuff. Rinse, repeat. Same thing every day. Morning, Paul. So a bit of a short news week this week. Very, very short news calendar this week. So we'll start off with basically what's happened over the weekend. Obviously, Friday was non-farm payroll day, so I'm going to whiz back to non-farm payroll, which is back before Trump started waffling. We'll go back here. No, that's Michigan. There's NFP. There we go. So Fridays, there's your Canadian unemployment came out at basically pretty much the same. Let's have a look at the news from last week. It'd be easier if we go back a week. So basically on Friday, the unemployment rate came out at 6.6 for the CAD, so better than forecast, which is good. The US came out slightly better than forecast as well, which is also good. So if you look at the US dollar, obviously Friday we had a bullish move on the dollar because obviously all the news was positive. So move down everything against the US. We got a little bit of a gap down today, which is filled up as well on the Euro US. So if you look at the other US pairs, all pretty much the same. It was actually quite a whipsaw non-farm payroll, really. So that's where we basically whipped up, back down again. Then we had a bull. Then we had a couple of bears. Then we had a bit of a whipsaw. So the actual movement was that, not really anything at all. So it is bullish US though. So overall, it's good for the US dollar. So that was the non-farm payroll data. This isn't really doing a lot. If we look at the CAD as well, let's look at the Euro CAD. It gives us an indication. Obviously, big strong move on the Canadian dollar, pound CAD, strong move down. Yeah, so it's basically, it's good news for the CAD, it's good news for the US, but the markets are still hanging on every word that Trump says at the minute. So that's the focal point. So we'll see what happens with Trump, obviously. After that, the futures market seems to have factored in a May cut for the US rather than June, so slightly quicker than anticipated. Obviously, there's a lot that can happen before May, especially now Trump's in charge if he wants to take over Gaza and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, and a 50% chance of a rate cut in March from the CAD as well. So continual rate cuts is basically what seems to be on the cards, and there's no reason why that shouldn't stop happening. So most important day today is the 4% unemployment rate. Yeah, that's always the case. Von der Leyen basically responding to threats from Trump about the tariffs, basically saying we will respond firmly if needed, blah, 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 blah. Trump then came out. We had Michigan. Michigan moved the market a lot. As you can see, we had a gap on Michigan. I had a short on the NASDAQ on Friday. Yeah, and it's target within literally 10 minutes. So it's lovely. But yeah, big strong move off of Michigan yesterday. Michigan is really, really hit and miss. It's an orange news event, and it's basically just a survey which gives an indication of kind of the thoughts, really, of the people, basically. But it's not really got any real impact, but the market tends to use it a lot to move. And I think the reason for it is because it's on a Friday afternoon. I think this is basically the market, basically, you know, Michigan news comes out. It's the last news of the week. Let's just dump everything into it. I don't think it's got anything to do with the actual survey results, because the survey results are irrelevant. Basically, we're asking 500 people their opinion. Basically, sorry, it's 420 people now. It doesn't mean anything, does it? Yeah, it's just, but I think the market uses it as an event to basically dump liquidity in, and it's very, very hit and miss. But Friday it was a big one. So yeah, that happened Friday afternoon. Then we had Trump coming out saying a load of stuff. We had Goolsby coming out as well, usual stuff. But told the Republican lawmakers he plans to issue reciprocal tariffs as early as Friday. So it's still going on about this tariff thing, usual stuff. But today is quite an important one. Tariffs on Japan are an option. Yeah. You see what you remember Trump last time you got above 150, 160. What happened? Yeah. Do you really want that happening again? You're doing well, mate. Shut up. Leave Japan alone because they will kill you. Not literally, but the Japanese yen will kill the US dollar. There's tariffs coming in today. Auto tariffs as well. There's loads of tariffs coming in. But the important one today is on steel. So basically today they're issuing at some point a 25% import tariff on all steel. Just trying to find where that is. We were announcing Monday 25% tariffs on steel and aluminium coming into the US. So expect a big spike when that happens. There's going to be, whether it goes up or down, we don't know, but there will be big reaction when that comes in. That's a big tariff. So trying to stop all the Chinese imported steel, basically, which is the same problem we have in the UK, committed to buying Gaza, all that sort of stuff. So, this is the norm now. This is Trump. We're in Trump world, and this is basically the way it's going to be. It's going to be a mental 4 years. Today, no news. We've got Lagarde speaking this afternoon at 2:00. That's it. It's a bank holiday in Japan tomorrow. Be wary of that. When we have a bank holiday in Japan, quite often the US dollar and the banks take advantage of it and they move the yen the wrong way, usually for the Japanese, but could well have a big yen move tomorrow in Asia. We got Bailey speaking tomorrow. We got Powell speaking tomorrow afternoon as well. So the first scheduled news event that is not a talking head is on Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday this week. There's not really any reason to move the market anywhere at all. So we should just see rotational price action. Shouldn't really see anything big. If you get any ADR hits, they're probably going to be good mean reversion opportunities. Wednesday's CPI for the US dollar. This is the most important one this week. So that's forecast to come out at 0.3. So we're expecting inflation to rise slightly month on month. We're expecting, or potentially down. It's going to be mixed, depends whether you're looking at the core or the main, but annually we're not expecting a lot of difference. So there's potential basically for a move in either direction on Wednesday. We got Powell again on 3:00. So Powell testifying in front of Congress tomorrow and on Wednesday. We got Waller speaking in the evening. New Zealand inflation expectations. GDP for the pound 7:00 on Thursday, and then we've got the CPI number coming out and the PPI number coming out on Thursday as well for the Swiss and the US, and then we go into retail. So it's a very light news week. It's all focused mainly around the US dollar this week, and it starts on Wednesday afternoon. So half this week basically is no news apart from when Trump announces the next batch of tariffs, etc. So there's your news coming up. Just seeing what's happening with the opening range breakouts. Sorry, let me just get to where we are. Right, so we're broken long on the DAX and long on the FTSE this morning. Clean breaks on both so far. Why are we up at ADR on the FTSE already? What the hell is that? Okay, we've got a gap up on the FTSE. That's going to want to get filled, isn't it? Much remember we realistically got today. 7. Half an ADR. Okay, so we got roughly half an ADR of movement to the upside from where we are before we hit resistance from last week. But the downside gap is very quick and easy to get to. So not quite sure why the FTSE is quite so strong this morning, but we are. So hopefully we can get a target hit on that before we go for that gap fill. But no trades on this account today. I'll go through this when I have it all finished. But yeah, long breaks on the DAX, long breaks on the FTSE. We're coming up to 2R on the FTSE already this morning. So I got really itchy nose this morning. I don't know why. Morning, everybody else. Haven't said morning to Vitaly. New trade manager dashboard. Yep. Is it updated on Marketplace? No, it's not. It's not an update. It's a completely new thing. It's this is basically an EA. It's not an indicator. So it's not the trade manager dashboard. It's a completely new thing. It's an EA basically, so we can trade with it basically. But yeah. Not ready yet. It's not finished. Morning, Mark. Morning, Ismet. Morning, Virginia. Morning, Chris. Morning, JC. Right. So we'll go through what is going on everywhere on all the accounts. Just want to see what this does. We're going to go for this gap fill. God, the difference between brokers. Look at this. This is the difference, and this is the problem with ADR. Every indicator and everything in trading has always got a really good thing and a negative thing. The trouble with ADR is broker specific. So I've hit ADR high on the FTSE today, on Darwin X, on Global Prime, nowhere near ADR. We've literally done 262 on an ADR of 926. So we're not even a quarter of an ADR of movement on Global Prime. Yet if you're on Darwin X, you'll get an ADR alert to go short. This is the trouble with indicators. It's broker specific. This is why you can't use volume as well. Same thing. You can't use volume if you're broker, because your broker's volume is just literally your broker's volume. It's not the market volume. So yeah, kind of ignore that ADR. It's not an ADR. It's because these candles opened very odd today on Darwin X. Very odd indeed. So we'll go through the accounts this morning. Last week, this is the Zone Trader account, which we'll look at in a second, but good week. It was actually first week last week. So it started closing out on Friday last week, was the first batch of closes. There's been one this morning as well. So yeah, this is a new account, just starting basically up. Really good week last week for stock index hedge, did 8%. So yeah, lovely week last week on that. Up 10% on the last 5 weeks or so there, as you can see. This is the new ORB strategy that I'm working on, which I've been working on in the members streams, and I'm still working on, and I haven't got any further with, but up 83%, well, up 75% in total since I started it. This is high risk, yeah, high risk, high reward. So it's basically a high risk scalp, risking. It's got a fixed risk on it of, I think, 200 or something. I can't actually remember what I equated it to, but yeah, so milking it, basically, really good. So we'll see how that continues. This is in forward testing. So this is a strategy I've been developing in the member streams, which is now in forward test. So there's no trade on this particular variation of the strategy today on the FTSE. There's no trade on the DAX so far, but we will be looking at the 30-minute range to evaluate whether or not it's worth taking a trade on the 30 today. The FTSE, I think, has got a very good chance of reversing today and getting this gap fill done. There's no news today, no reason to move the market. There's a good reason to stay in rotation. So a rejection somewhere up at the highs, I think, is very much on the cards for the FTSE today, but we'll see. Right. So over to the VPS. So H1 RSI mean reversion. I've literally got one trade on this account. At the minute, it's not going anywhere. The market is basically not going anywhere. If we just flip back and look at the dashboards, This is the RSI dash. At the moment, there's so few opportunities over the last week. It's been really dire. That EA and that account did miss a couple of trades last week because there was an issue with data, unfortunately, because it's a new account. The copy trade account that I started up is new. It didn't have enough data in there to calculate ADR, so it missed a couple of opportunities last week, which is all sorted now, but they all played out, unfortunately. Yeah, so Euro odd is the only extension we've got at the moment, which is extended to the downside. A very, very, very big, strong push on that at the minute. So it's not stopping this this euro, just down. So good extensions on that at the minute. There's an opportunity to get in long there, which I can't actually get into because the swaps are too expensive. But it's a beautiful 3-bar reversal going in right now. Yeah, lovely tight reversal alert as well. So you've got a 3-bar reversal going in there. Pull, pause, push. Yeah, so excellent reversal pattern. Your reversal alert level is there. So it's just about to give a reversal alert potentially today if we get some more bull movement this morning. If we get through that propulsion gap, this could be the start of the pullback on this leg. So it's extended on the hourly. As you can see, it got extended on Friday as well. 4-hourly, we are extended and embedded down there on the 4. So very good opportunity for a long and looking for a pullback on this leg of some description. You've got to watch this monthly low and you've got to watch that 2-week low as well. So this area here basically is potential resistance, which is this propulsion gap. So it's either going to flag break and continue, but more likely it's going to want to pull back on this leg to some degree today. We've got Lagarde speaking at 2 o'clock this afternoon. So that is your potential catalyst. She might come out and say something this afternoon that the market uses to drive that back up again. But that's your only extension there in the US dollar Swiss. Apart from that, this dashboard has been absolutely dead. So little movement. We've had a lot of movement intraday with what Trump's been saying, but no sustained movement that's given any real good signals. We had an entry there, US dollar Swiss, and you had one there on the 4-hour. Yeah, so there was opportunities. You had that obviously there as well. So, but just nothing on the hourly. It's just not been able to give too enough signals. So. Or if it has given signals, it's been in the wrong direction, basically. This is the one that I missed last week, this US dollar Swiss. So this did give an extension last week down here, and the entry signal was here. And then you had a second entry signal there. So there were 2 entry signals there, and then you had the reversal alert on Thursday. All played out beautifully, straight into propulsion and straight through that propulsion gap today, which for some reason is still drawn on the chart. Weird. Oh, it's an anomaly. Look at that. Just that lower that wick and that lower that wick hasn't quite traded that level. This indicator has got, it's very, very rare you see that. But if you gap up into the gap and then you don't come down and close the gap, the indicator, if it happens to happen at a propulsion gap. So the odds of this actual price action pattern happening are infinitesimally small. But when it does happen, it doesn't close the propulsion gap because the rules are it has to have traded both ends of it to close the gap completely. It hasn't because it's never traded at that price. So yeah, weird. Just one of those ones you get every now and again. And I've probably had, I don't know, a handful in the last year, and I've looked at them and gone, why is that not filling? It's because of that logic, which is on my list to do, but really it doesn't happen often enough for me to bother with it. But anyway, so they all played out last week beautifully, and now you've got a short signal to come back down. What's going to happen with the US dollar? We don't know. Yeah, it's Trump, so we'll see what happens. But those are your RSI extensions. ADR today, Aussie, New Zealand. On Mondays, you kind of ignore Aussie and New Zealand a little bit because the market always puts in these stupid candles at the swap. It's the first, basically, session. So the market opens at 11 o'clock in New Zealand. there's no liquidity in the market, so you get these huge broker candles on the weekend swap, and quite often you get ADR hits like literally within 2 hours. Nothing's happened basically. So kind of take Aussie and New Zealand pairs with a little bit of a pinch of salt. So that's not really an ADR hit. An Aussie dollar yen, probably not either. No, so that's not an ADR hit either. Really, it's a gap down. So I looked at a couple of different solutions for this. So, for example, taking yesterday's or the previous day's close and calculating ADR from there. But I mean, ADR is from the high and low of the day. That's the whole point of it. You're measuring the range of the day, which has to be done from high to low. You cannot use open and close. So I looked at all sorts of alternatives for trying to iron this out. I looked at one alternative solution for drawing it where you miss this candle out completely. So they miss out the first hour of the day, which is quite often a large broker candle, and you start from the second hour of the day. The trouble with that is you get news happening between 9:45 and 11 p.m. in the Aussie and New Zealand realms. So you miss all the news events. It's just, there's no real solution for it. This is the problem with indicators. This is why people have to trade manually. You've got to use your eyeballs and use your common sense. Euro yen has also hit ADR. So we have got some movement on this yen today. There we go. So it's a bit of a gap down fill. So that is a fairly decent move on the yen today. So lots of weakness coming in on the yen. Obviously, Trump's been talking about Japan overnight, about tariffs on Japan. So obviously that's weakened the yen this morning. We've also had their current account figures, but it doesn't really tend to do an awful lot. So there we go. So there's your ADRs at the moment. So yen, there's mean reversion opportunities on the yen at the moment today for intraday moves. Morning, Lucas. Morning, JC. If I didn't say good morning already, I probably have. I can't remember. Right, let's quickly catch up on what the indices are up to. So clean breaks are holding on the DAX and the FTSE. Just going to zoom in on that because I want to get rid of that price action. So we've got 2R there. Let me just see where that 3R target is today. Yeah, so if we are going to go for last week's high as a retest, that accumulation break there is kind of around about where the 3R target is as well. So I'm just going to move that down ever so slightly. I'm going to move the high 5R target down to about 4.5R this morning, just to incorporate that weekly high. The target is just outside the weekly high. What I don't want to do is them to fall short and find a load of limit orders sitting there and not get in. So, not get out rather. So I'm just moving targets down slightly. I'm not convinced we're actually going to get all that way anyway before we come back and do the gap fill. But in fact, there's an argument for kind of taking this off where it is now because it's £400. But it is a clean break. Gonna let it play out. See where we go. So DAX upside target. DAX has got a gap fill to do as well. So 3R on the DAX is last week's high, which is fine. We've got the gap fill here at 2R as well. From Friday's non-farm payroll. Let me just see if that is also on Global Prime. Yeah, it's there. So there was a gap on Friday, which is likely to get filled from the upside or to the upside. Right. So we'll come back to those in a minute. Okay, so let's whiz over to the VPS. Too many terminals open. So RSI, very, very quiet month so far. I've obviously closed out already a lot of the trades from last month. Last month was 15%, which is great. But just struggling to get any new trades on at the minute because I've had a couple of anomalies with the EA that haven't taken trades. So I've missed 3 trades, I think it is, this last week, which pretty much have all played out. So just missed opportunities to bank there. Just got that one trade on the pound odd at the moment. That's the only thing that's running. There's just not been any other opportunities. So since I got into that last week, as you can see, we haven't gone anywhere. So looking for a move up on the pound odd. So we'll have a look at the zones. The zones, yeah, this is a new account. So I closed down all the trades on the old account. I've still got one running on that other account, which is a US dollar CAD long, which I've got 4 on, I think. So it's the same thing, basically. It's this trade here, but it got in somewhere else. So it needs to get up to around about here to get out of that one, which is fine. But so yeah, so loads of open trades, as you can see. Should get some good banking opportunities today. US dollar Swiss and pound US dollar, but we'll go through all the zones, look at them all, and adjust. Do you already know when to release the new dashboard? No, when it's ready. It's ready. Well, I mean, I don't know. I can release it today. You know, it's ready. It's working. There's nothing wrong with it. It works. But it's not finished. It's not where I want it to be. There's more I want to do to it. So I haven't decided yet, and obviously I've got to convert it over to MT5, and it's going to be a pain in the arse to convert it to MT5. So, but I don't need to wait to convert it before I launch the MT4 version. So I'll see. I haven't even decided how I'm going to launch it yet. I'm really swaying away from the MQL5 marketplace at the moment. There's all sorts of trouble. I don't know what's going on with MQL5 at the moment. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the company as such, but they've got massive problems with payments at the moment. So a lot of people have contacted me and say they can't pay by PayPal anymore, which fine. So they've obviously got issues with PayPal. PayPal now do not want them transacting. Not a problem. There's also problems with cards. So I, as a seller on there, I can obviously withdraw money from sales after they've taken all their commissions. But I now also cannot withdraw onto business cards. They will not allow those transactions either. So banks are putting up barriers for some reason. Something's going on financially behind the scenes, which means that MQL5 is having trouble finding payment processors, not for necessarily sales, but also to get money out is becoming problematic. So I'm getting the feeling there's something wrong somewhere, and I don't know what it is or why it is, but there's something, you know, some difficulty somewhere. However, people are still buying stuff, so I know there are, you know, they still can. But me as an individual can take whatever payment I want. So I'm trying to get it set up on the website so that I can take payment and I can deliver the products. The problem I've got then is encryption. I've got to put in safeguarding systems so that all my products are basically secured, which, you know, there's no way of decompiling MQL 4 or 5 EAs and things without massive problems. Since they released version, I think it was 500 of MT4 and MT5, it's all decompiled into binary and no one can make any sense of it now. But there are still people out there that can hack anything. So there's only so much protection you can put in place. Nothing's safe, nothing's secure, is it? But I've got to think about all of that stuff as well. But I would like to get it all into my control so that I'm not reliant on the marketplace. I'll probably still sell stuff up there and put it up there for people that want it, but I'd rather take control of it, just for security's sake, for me, as well. Pound yen has just hit ADR as well. So lots of movement on the yen this morning. But yeah, so I haven't decided really how I want to do it. I'm trying to move away from that marketplace, I don't want to pick it up there. I think it's because they're a Russian company. They're not anymore. They were. They're not anymore. Swiss yen as well. ADR. So there's a lot of movement on the Swiss today. Sorry, the yen today. Big movement. But yeah, I think it is something to do with that potentially. Their initial ties to Russia. Though they're not in Russia anymore. They're not run by Russia anymore. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But if that was the case, if you think about it, Robert, wouldn't this have all kicked off 2 years ago? It hasn't. So I'm not sure if there's new legislation that's come. Not legislation, that's the wrong word. New sanctions coming in from certain countries. New levels of sanctions, maybe against Russia, that incorporates Russia or related to Russia type business, which means that PayPal as an American company has had to cut. I don't know. Nothing's coming out. So, but we've had problems with PayPal before as well. So, it's one of those things. It's not a new problem, and it gets fixed. It came back last time. We lost PayPal, and then it all came back again. So I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, that's part of my dilemma. Worst case scenario, I will just stick it up on MT4, on MQL5 Marketplace, and it will be there. But I want to try and take it all away from there. I'm not that bothered about the security element of it, to be honest, because it's not my income. It's a sideline income, if you like. But it's also a lot of work for me. So I also do want to get paid for it. If I find everything suddenly gets out there for free, I'll just stop it all. I'll just give the whole lot up and just carry on trading myself, And I don't really want to do that because I enjoy it. But hackers, they're never going to go away, are they? And now AI is taking over the world. AI is going to become the hacker, isn't it? So it doesn't matter what you do. AI will just go, yeah, I think I'll decompile that. We're all doomed. Doomed. Right, let's go through the zones. So Aussie CAD got shorts on at the moment. I'm not going to go through every zone in detail. I'm going to go through what needs to be changed, if anything. So we got in short on this one from resistance, and we are still where we were. So looking to get out when we get back down into this accumulation. So we just missed target on this on this morning, basically. So yeah, see if we can get down there today and get out. Then I will flip long. So I'm interested in longs basically when we get back down into this area. And then if that doesn't work out, I shall get second entries on somewhere down here. Aussie dollar Swiss. I'm looking for long opportunities on this. I can't get into this. So it's hit my target. So ever since we did this V-shaped recovery off the back of Trump's move, I've been looking to try and get in long, and it's just missed every time I've tried to get into the thing, and now it's hit target. So there's target. There's the gap fill I told you that was going to happen, because it always does. Yeah, it's there. So it's a great short opportunity right now. It's too expensive, but if you want to short it, that's where I'll be shorting it from. Price action is looking like it's confirming that as well. So yeah, looks good for shorts. I want to get in here. So if we do get back down to there, I will get in long. But it's a big if. Aussie New Zealand, I am in short. First entry short, second entry short is about to go in today. Yeah, this is the area I wanted to short. Got in, we pushed down. We're pushing back up into second short. So second short will go in there, average will come up, and then I will target somewhere down there. If I don't manage to get that target on today, a second short on today, that is still my target to the downside. Aussie dollar, US dollar, first long taken today. So I need a new long. Ooh, it's a mess, isn't it? It's all Trump. It's a bit of a mess, this. So this is the previous resistance, turn support. Yeah. Trump, mess. That'll do. So that's next entry long minimum. So that's where I'll get into my next one long. and we'll see if we're going to use this Trump low, but don't think we will. So yeah, looking to get out obviously at those highs. It's in profit at the moment. We've done the gap fill today, so the market is free to go wherever it wants to today from this area here to that area there. So quite possibly Monday, Tuesday we'll sit in rotation, but we'll see. CAD Swiss looking to get in long, moving up. So now broken back out of those highs. We've retested them already. So let's see. We haven't got the gap fill done. Really, it's one of those two, depending on how you class a gap. So if we can get back down into here, how long that. We've got Swiss news coming this week on Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. So we got the Swiss CPI coming, not forecast to change, second recessionary. So it's going to be bearish Swiss. So Swiss franc negative on Thursday with all likelihood. So I'd like to get into a long before that news on Thursday on the Swiss, and then we can ride the Swiss up when it goes short. Euro odds, been looking to get in short on this as well. Haven't managed to get in. Missed it now. So yeah, still looking for shorts. I don't really know where to get in on this now. I mean, this is really where I'd like to get in, up here. But I mean, there's so many areas. It's just a mess. It's a parabolic trend. So you don't want to get too aggressive on a parabolic trend like this because it'll end very quickly. I'm literally just going to do something like that at the minute, and I just want to try and I just want to get short on. So I just want to get in, but I don't, I'm not going to get in here because it's going to want to retrace at least a portion of that leg, isn't it? It's going to need to do half of a retracement before it does anything else. So just going to get in roughly half of a retracement if it decides to retrace this week. Euro CAD, same thing. So the propulsion gap here, I'm looking for a propulsion gap fill. Yeah, so just looking for this propulsion gap to get filled to the downside. So looking for shorts on that at some point. Euro Swiss. So again, shorts. I mean, it hasn't quite done the gap fill here. This is my entry target. It literally missed my entry. It hit to the pip, basically. Hit to the pip and didn't trigger me entry. So I should be short from there. But I didn't. I mean, it literally missed me by a pip. So there's nothing I can do about it. I'm waiting for it to come back up and retest that area, and I'm going to move that down a little bit. So that's my short entry, if we can get there. Euro pound, have one short on. It's coming down to target. So this is my exit target to the downside. When we get down to there, I will be out. So I'm looking for that today. Euro pound. Let's get more size on that. I'm going to adjust all my sizing this week as well. So yeah, Euro pound, Euro New Zealand. I'm looking for shorts on this as well. I can't get in on, just can't get into this either. So same thing with this. I think I'm just going to stick a fib on, and just when we retrace, I'm just going to get in so I can get in, because there's no real obvious support resistance areas on this that make any sense. What we're looking for here, shorts. So I'm just going to come down to the highs. So target to the downside is going to be down there when we get in, but it's a bit of a mess, isn't it? It's just a messy price action from Friday. So this is the high from Friday. So I think I'll get in somewhere around there if I can, to the downside. Pound odd, longs on at the moment. Next long should trigger today. These lines are in the wrong place, aren't they? There's a bug. Let me get my bug list open. Zone trader. Weekly open in wrong place. That's weird. Why is the weekly open on Friday? Need to fix that. So yeah, next long is going in today. So I'm looking for this area from Thursday, Friday last week. All these previous highs to get retested. So they're basically coming to fill this 4-hour propulsion gap here, which they've already rebought twice. So if they buy that again, we're off back up. So at the moment, I'm leaving target up at the highs on this. Yeah, and looking for these lows to hold as the low, and then higher, low, carry on up to the highs. So yeah, we'll see where we go on that one, but next entry will be going in on that today. Pound CAD, same sort of thing. Got longs on the pound CAD, looking for entry out of this move here. So we had the news propulsion gap, we added. We haven't looked back since. So assuming that there are still buyers from this event here, this is where they will be adding if they're going to be there. So next entry long there, and obviously then we'll be looking at lows for next entry after that. Exit at the moment is just shy of this propulsion move here. So I'm just seeing if they come and retest this propulsion gap. So this is where the sellers are to the upside. This is where the buyers are to the downside. So those are the areas of interest at the minute. So we'll be going out there. Just curious, what's your trading setup? Do I have multiple monitors or one? I've got 142 inch monitor here and 2 widescreen ones either side. But for trading, for charts, this one, the one you're looking at now. What you're looking at now is in the middle of my 42-inch monitor. That's it. One chart. Let me ask you a question, Ryan. This is going to sound stupid, but I asked the same question you've just asked. And the answer I got back was, how many pairs of eyeballs have you got? So therefore, how many charts can you look at one time? You can trade from a laptop and be as effective as trading from 15 monitors. What will happen if you have 15 monitors? You will information overload. You won't have a bloody clue what to do. Because one chart will be telling you to go long, one chart will be telling you to go short. You'll be going, oh, look, the US dollar's going up. Hang on a minute, but the yen's going up as well. What should I do with all this information? You won't do anything. And if you do something, it will be over trading. So one pair of eyeballs, one chart at a time. Can't do any more than that. I can never find this. I always like to show people my setup that I used to have. When I started trading, well, when I started trading, when I got serious about trading, I don't think I've got it in there. I never know where I've put the picture. PS miscellaneous stuff. I can't find it now, but yeah, I used to have a lovely setup. It's on there. Anyway. Can't find it now. Never can. Every time I can never find the picture whenever I want it. Oh, there it is. This is what my desk used to look like. Yeah. All my P&Ls up here. I had all the euro and pound pairs there, all the New Zealand Aussie pairs there, the yen pairs, dollar index, gold, my main analysis screen for multi-time frame analysis, H4, M15, all the majors. Yeah, I used to have all my chat over there on a laptop. Yeah, and yeah, it's brilliant. Looked really cool, didn't it? Absolutely no use whatsoever, because I was either looking at that, or I was looking at that. So if you're looking at that, you don't know what's going on over here. If that suddenly starts to move, you'll look over there. Pointless. Get rid of it all. Don't need it. I have on US dollar CAD same issue with Zone Trader. Next buy is above average price line. I have on US dollar CAD some issue with Zone Trader. Next buy is above average price line. We'll move it down then, Lucas. I don't know what you mean. If your next buy is above the average price line, move it down. You're in control of this. You move this. It's a manual trading tool. Yeah. So if it's above where you want it to be, move it down. I don't think I understand the question or what you're asking. So pound Swiss looking for longs. Out of here. Pound US dollar. I have shorts on at the moment. So I'm hedged on the pound at the moment in both directions. Not quite sure which way we're going, but this area here is basically what I'm looking for potential support at to the downside. So I'm going to watch and see what happens when we get there. In fact, there's quite a bit of money on this at the moment. So what I might actually do is move it down to there now, because I'm not going to flip long. So the reason I don't want to get out too quick on this is because I'm hedged. I've got pound longs on other pairs. So if those are going to go into drawdown because the pound is weak, I want to make sure this is making good money on the way, so I can get out of those other pounds which are hedged a bit later on. So but yeah, it makes sense at the moment. I think if you look at the sort of movement we've had over the last couple of weeks, something like that is probably about realistic for weekly range. So that makes sense for them to hold, and then you've got a nice easy second entry down there. So short on that at the moment, looking, just going to move my target up from there to there. We haven't got a lot of news this week until end of week, so we'll see. How long do you want to forward test ORB version 2? I don't know at the moment. I haven't finished the back testing yet on it because I'm still back testing. I haven't tested trailing stops on it yet. So that's my next step, is to do the back testing with trailing stops. What I've noticed, there we go. So we've got a long. No, we haven't. We had a long and it's already failed. So yeah, there you go. So 222 loss. So we had a long triggered on the 30-minute there, which has already stopped out, and now it's going long again. But I've noticed quite a few instances with this variation on the strategy where we are clean broke and we're up near target, and then it's come all the way back down to stop out. That's pointless. We should have some kind of trailing mechanism on it. So I'm going to test all of the trailing stop mechanisms to see what is the best thing to do on average. Same as SIH. SIH has trailing stop mechanism built in automatically. So when we get to 3R, we're automatically trailing the second part of the position. Because we haven't got a second part of the position on that version of the strategy that I'm trading here, I need a trailing stop on it because it's single entry, single exit. So I'm going to do all that testing. But I mean, this is the base strategy that I did all the system parameter permutation testing on. Yeah, and it's as effective as the back testing. So we were getting sort of 6 to 10 return on drawdown figures from it. So it's huge. And it's doing exactly what it says on the tin. But I think there's room for further improvement in stopping that initial loss after you don't quite get to target. Not necessarily stopping it, but reducing it down. So maybe moving to break even after 2R or 3R, which is what the SIH does, which is why the SIH does that, because that was deemed to be the most effective way to do it long term. I think that will enhance the profitability of it and smooth out the equity curve. It's probably not, it won't make it more profitable, but it will smooth the equity curve. So I've got to do that testing. But this is testing functionality. So obviously for me, when I'm doing forward testing is not necessarily about always, are we making money? Because you can go into a forward test and it doesn't make money. That's fine. The back testing showed that it doesn't always make money. So it's normal for forward tests not to make money, because the back test also didn't make money all the time. There's no equity curve that goes like that. It goes like that, doesn't it? Yeah. So it's not about that. It's about making sure that it's executing the trades exactly in line with the strategy. So the forward test for me is making sure that it works. So the EA has to do what the EA needs to do. The strategy is being executed properly. So this is what this forward test is. I haven't had any issues whatsoever. It's executed everything perfectly. But you would expect it to, because there's very few moving parts in this one. So there's not a lot it can really go wrong with. So as far as that's concerned, I'm happy with the functionality. But the strategy, I'm not 100% sure on this is the right variation until I've finished all the back testing. And I accidentally fell into last week building this, and this took up my entire week. So I haven't managed to get any further with the back testing, but that is on my list this week when I've got this finished. So yeah, I mean the next distance line. So Lucas, what do you mean the next distance line? This line here. Next buy can't be above the average price. It can't be, because it's calculated from the average. But that line there, the calculation for that is average price, yeah, minus percentage of ADR from inputs. It can't print it down here, because it works off of that line, and it calculates a negative off of that line. Yeah, look, there's my average buy. That's my next buy. It can't be up there because it uses this line. If it, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. The calculation can't work that way, really. I've lost where I was. We were on pound, weren't we? So next entry is about to go in on the pound odd. So we've triggered the zone. So definite entry going in on that. Pound CAD shorts have already covered. Pound Swiss, I am looking for longs. I think I've covered that, haven't I? Pound US, I'm in shorts. I've covered that. So we're on to New Zealand. I'm about to buy a new setup, debating whether to go for 3-monitor setup or 143-inch monitor. If I were you, and I'm not, but I would go for multiple monitors. Because for me, the advantage is having different things. I've got at the moment web browser over here. I've got chat windows and everything over here. And this is my charting. If you go with one big monitor, the problem with this monitor that I've got in front of me, there's my setup look, right? So I've got one oh, you can't see it, can I? I've got one whacking great 40 where does it say your I don't know. But yeah, so I've got one whacking great 42 or 43, 40, whatever this inch monitor is. I don't know, it's a Dell. And then I've got that one on its side. And then I've got this one over here like that. So this is good for web browsing. This is good for coding and chat systems like Discord, Telegram and stuff, because it all goes down the page. And this is for my charting. But what I find I do is I draw my chart. All my MT4 runs here. The reason being is your eyes, when you're sitting in front of a monitor, when you're sitting in front of a 42-inch monitor, and I thought this was a really good idea, was I could use this whacking great monitor to see lots of information. Realistically, your eyeballs, I have no idea what's going on here, because the edges of the screen here are my peripheral vision. I can't see what's going on up there unless I look. So to look at that corner of my monitor, I have to literally turn my head, because it's so far away compared to where you're sitting from the monitor. What I end up doing is my MT4s are all running as if they were running on a 32-inch monitor in front of me. All this is dead space. So it's not actually a good idea to get a whacking great monitor. You're better off having smaller monitors and more of them, because you can utilize all the space with your eyes. You can't use this space. I could have 4 MT4s running in each corner like this, obviously equally. But equally then, I have to look here, look here, look here, and look here. So it's the same as having 4 monitors. There's no advantage. But if you get a 42-inch monitor and split it into 4, yeah, you've actually only got 20-inch monitors. So by getting a 42 or 45-inch monitor, you're actually getting 4 smaller monitors than if you just bought one nice, decent 30-inch size or whatever. So I don't know. When I bought it, I was like, this looks cool. And then I was like, and then I started moving all my windows in the middle, and I was like, actually, this is pointless. Anyway, that's my take on it. When you backtest, is it always on demo? Forward test, you mean? I always forward test on demo, yeah. Backtesting is done in the strategy tester. That's nothing, is it? That's just backtesting. Right, New Zealand dollar CAD. So New Zealand dollar CAD got longs on from last week. Exited the shorts, flip long, looking for a push back up into those highs. Next zone for me is down in these lows. So we hit this area. Price discovery failure. Support, 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 support. This is where they're buying from. So if we do break down, that's where I'm buying from. If we are going to push up and this is going to hold, we're obviously off up to, well, at the moment I'm testing these highs. I'll see what the P&L looks like. I might decide to get out there. But I am trading this in both directions. Where's my swap filter gone? Down the bottom, isn't it? Am I going mad? Where's the swap filter gone? Oh, there. 6. Why did I set that to 6? Should be 5. I know why I set that to 6, because I had shorts on and I decided just to move it up. So that should be -5. So that should not be taking shorts. Yeah, basically looking to get out, and then I'm not going to flip short is what I was going to say. So yeah, so those highs basically at the moment, those lows here are potential upside. So I'm going to monitor if we do get up to there, if we're around about there when I next look at it. I'll see, I might get out of those longs, but there's not really enough money in it at the moment. So I'm going to wait and see what happens, because we haven't really gone anywhere in the last sort of week. New Zealand dollar Swiss, shorts on at the moment. Sorry, longs on at the moment, first entry taken. That buy zone didn't trigger because the candle closed above the buy zone. So I need to reset that buy zone. this is kind of where I did want to buy out of. So I'm just going to move it down to encompass these lows here. So it's this area here, which I think is where I had this previously, was this sort of area here that we were buying from. Then we had Trump, yeah, and then we mucked about within it. And then we did the last buy that drove the highs was actually from the same zone. So this is basically the undoing of the Trump move. And then the market resumed at the end of last week, well, middle of last week, back to normal from here. So that's where I'm going to buy the next lot. Sells on this. So the exit on this at the moment, I haven't got set. So I'm going to set a target. This area here is kind of where is the logical spot to get out of this one. We've got the Swiss franc news coming this week, which is likely to weaken the Swiss franc, which means there's a very good probability of hitting that. So I'm going to leave it there for the moment, but I'll see where price is when we come up to the news on Thursday. If we've just gone into rotation this week, yeah, and market goes into balance and is happy to sit here, then that is what it will do. And it would make sense to then try and get out. If we've got sort of close to this area by Thursday, I might move it up and just protect with a break-even stop in case we get negative news and it flies, because obviously I can make a lot more money out of it. But I'll judge that when we get closer to Thursday. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, shorts on at the moment. Second short going on at those highs. Target to the downside is the lows. Nothing's changed there. We'll just see what happens. Hasn't gone anywhere yet. US dollar CAD. At the moment, I've got 2 longs on this one. Third long is going on back down here. I said I wasn't going to go into these in detail. I am. Just happens. So that is the last area we bought from. We haven't tested that area at all yet since we left. So looking for a first retest of that area to the downside for third position. And then we're going to come back and fill these propulsion gaps. So we're either going to come and fill these propulsion gaps now, or we're going to go down and then we're going to come back and fill those propulsion gaps. So one of those two things is going to happen. I'm either going to get out when we do fill the propulsion gap, or I'm going to get in again and get out at a lower propulsion gap because the average price will move down. But see what happens. We've got lots of news coming on the US dollar later on this week. US dollar Swiss, longs on at the moment. Third backup position is going to go on down here. This propulsion move, bit of a mess this one, but that's the most recent low. That's what I'm using because it's the most recent low. In fact, that is now the most recent low, which is good because it means we've made a higher low, which means that we are either going into a wedge to the upside, so strength, and again, Swiss franc likely to weaken on Thursday. So if we do get up to there and these sellers hold, that's my exit. If it blows through it, it blows through it. That's great. And that's it. US dollar yen. I'm not trading any yen pairs at the moment. There you go. That's all the pairs done. We'll see where we go today. So today I've closed out one. What did I close out? I closed out Aussie dollar, US dollar today. So that one there. So a quick exit on the shorts and a flip long. Not a lot of money, but not a lot of money. Is what it is. I have a 42-inch monitor, but I have to say I prefer multiple monitors. Yeah, me too. Not really sure why, but looking at one big screen has a different feel. Yeah, it doesn't feel as good. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. There's elements that are good to having a big monitor. You still have all your stuff, and what you're focusing on is still here. And I get why people make monitors sort of 26 to 32 inches, because when you're looking at a monitor at this distance, you've got a peripheral vision, which I think is probably scientifically proven to be somewhere around about 26 to 32 inches. Because everything outside of that vision, you have to look and turn, which is fine. But the reason I kind of like having the 42-inch monitor, so the plus side of it is I've got icons everywhere. I'm pointing to all this stuff you can't see. I've got icons outside of the screen, which means I can drag like things like notepads. Yeah, I have lots of notepads on the go with information on. I can drag these around and they sit on the monitor outside of my main working area. So the chat system at the moment, you guys, you're all up at the top of my monitor. Above this chart, there's you lot, right? So I can do all this and I can look up and it's on the same screen. The market watch is over here. Don't know if you can see that. You can't. But market watch is off to the left. So I can, if I dock the market watch there, yeah, if I undock it, I can just have it sitting off the chart, which gives me more real estate on the actual chart platform. So that's the advantage of it. And I can see all my stuff, like my images and stuff, to remind me to get you guys to hit the thumbs up button. Yeah, I can launch all of that because it's all sitting as icons around the monitor. So there's advantages to it, but whether they're more or less advantageous to having multiples, I don't know. But I've had loads of setups. That one I just showed you, my old setup where I had all the charts there. I sat down the first time I had that open. I was like, this is brilliant. I can see everything that's going on with every single pair. And then I built this. And I was like, wow, I can see everything that's going on with every single pair on this thing. Because if it's moving, it's either hitting its average daily range or it's getting an RSI extension. So this dashboard here for RSI and this dashboard here for ADR made every chart useless. There's no point. I'm interested in stuff that's moving. If it's not moving, there's no point in trading it, right? So I'm a mean reversion trader. It has to have moved for me to get interested in selling it or buying it. These two dashboards just ping up and go, ding, it's moved. I'm like, brilliant. I'll have a look at that. Aussie yen, it's moved. Do I want to short that? Let's have a look. Let's drop down to the 5-minute chart and have a look and see if I want to short it. I can only look at one chart. Great short. Look at that. Just reverse alert's not in a great spot, but yesterday's high resistance, weekly high resistance, weekly resistance. We're selling at the moment at weekly resistance after it's extended beyond its average daily range. I don't need 1,000 monitors. I need one dashboard that pings. There's an opportunity. Go and have a look at that. That's all you need. So trading from a laptop, when I went on holiday last year, I was off in Turkey or wherever it was we were. Turkey. Where the hell did we go this year? Yeah, Turkey. And I was sitting there basically with my Microsoft Surface by the pool and dashes. That's it. How's my trading going at the moment? That's how my trading's going at the moment. I don't need anything else, do I? You don't need 1,000 monitors. All these guys you see, and I used to be one of them, with all these monitors everywhere, it's all for show. There's absolutely no use in any of it. In banks and institutions, if you look at their multi-monitor displays, most market maker desks and most foreign exchange desks have got 6 monitors. But if you look at the 6 monitors, what you will find is there'll be dashboards with information. There'll be a charting screen with charts. There'll be an order execution monitor with order execution tools on it, like the price action toolkit, that sort of stuff. Not obviously that, but they'll have, that's where they place their orders, normally on ladders. There'll be a news screen, which has got nothing but news on it. And there'll be another monitor which does something else. But chart-wise, they don't really use charts, to be honest, much. They use levels. But there's only one monitor for that. What's more important is this, and this. What's my exposure? What are my risks from exposure from news coming up shortly? That's what they're looking at. They're not having a load of charts with indicators on it, because indicators just tell you what's happened in the past. They're no use for future prediction of price movement, are they? Well, they are. They can tell you when there's opportunities coming up, like ADR and RSI, but they're not going to help you do anything than press one of these buttons with a 50-50 probability. Reverse alert's just about to go in on it's just gone in actually. So you just had a reverse alert on Euro odd. There we go. So that's a really nice 4-hour RSI mean reversion. Reverse alert's just going on the hourly. So assuming that we can break back above the monthly lows, your next area of resistance is just shy of ADR today, which is the 2-week low. And then if that doesn't hold, you're looking for a retracement of some kind on that. So if you're in the members stream on Thursday last week when we talked about balance and price discovery, balance, price discovery, failure, back into area of balance, although not very balanced, is it? Price discovery, it's either going to hold or we're going to come back into balance. So either way, whether it holds or it comes back into balance, if you long it now and are aware that that is where, if it is going to succeed, it's going to bounce from, there's a long opportunity right now. It's not quite extended on the hourly, so I haven't taken that, I guess. Can't get any trades on. Nothing's getting extended and it's not holding long enough at the moment. Nothing is getting extended and holding long enough. It's really annoying. Right, TP1 hit on FTSE. So target hit out, first trade done. Nice clean break. DAX, we made 1.5R, came out of that propulsion. That gap there is there on multiple brokers. So I think there's still a good chance of aiming for that today. But the problem we've got is this. So I think it's more likely they're going to want to get this gap fill done today. So break even on second portion of the long for the FTSE. We're either going to hold here or we're not. Second target upside on the FTSE is just shy of the weekly high. So it's not got too far to go to get there. But obviously there is a gap here as well. So that's Friday's close. Ignoring that weird broker candle thing that we had on Darwin X. That is your downside gap fill for the FTSE. And obviously on the DAX, we've got exactly the same thing. We've got the downside gap fill in play. So either we're going to just go bull today and remain bull and then come back and do this tomorrow or Wednesday, or we're going to do this straight away. So difficult to get in with that massive price action if you did want to try and go for the gap fill short. But so on this account, I will be taking a short on the 30-minute. 30 minutes, a real weird range. I'm going to do some analysis on that as well. That's part of my back testing. I added this in as another test, basically. But I thought I might as well forward test it. But there's your short on the DAX. Don't know why those lights go off. $260, so it'd be 3, 2, 4, 6, 750. So downside on that is going to be 3R roughly. So if that does trigger short on the 5-minute opening range today, that's just about 3R. Right, that's all for today. Nothing much else to discuss at the moment. So if you've got any questions, let me know. Anything else you want to look at, let me know. Tomorrow's member stream, 8 o'clock. We are going to... Actually, I haven't actually decided what we're going to do tomorrow yet. The Trade Manager dashboard, EA, is virtually completed. So I might do a session on... I don't know what I'd call it. It's kind of the way I used to trade with multiple positions, which is basically getting in and out of lots and lots of trades very, very quickly. So constant drawdown control, which is what the dash allows you to do. So it's something I think I'm probably going to be doing a lot more of. Is, you know, got 0.4 drawdown available there. So banking 0.5 and then taking 50% of that off. So banking 0.3%, reducing drawdown, So I might do a session on that, but I might actually leave that session until I've got the dash actually completed and out there. Because what I would like to do is do a session really where I'm trading the 1 minute chart and just getting into a load of trades on the 1 minute chart in random directions, and just kind of demonstrating, if you want, the principle live sort of thing over an hour. So I'm not quite sure I'm at that level yet, really, where I want to do that with the dash. So tomorrow, I'm not absolutely sure what we're going to do. What I might do tomorrow is, in fact, this would make more sense. It would also spur me on to get this done, is do the back testing on ORB V2 with trailing stops, because I haven't done it yet. So I think what I might do is we'll do a live back test of opening range breakout version 2. We'll run the test in the strategy tester and we'll analyze results with the trailing stops in place. So we'll do a system parameter permutation test on trailing stops, basically. So I think that's probably what I'm going to do tomorrow, because at least then I'll get it done, because I've been putting it off. Morning, Wojciech. You're late. It's 9:20. You've missed it all. So that's tomorrow's plan, basically. Right. That's all for today. I'll be back tomorrow for the member stream, and then I'll be back Wednesday afternoon as usual. So live streams are the same this week. I've just realized I've put an X there and I haven't said what it is. How do you do that now, right? So this weekend I changed the little Tweety bird that we had. It's going to be bad. I'm not an artist. That said Twitter there, right? So it said Twitter there with the Twitter icon. Now I've changed this to the X icon. There's no point in putting the X icon and X next to the X icon, is there? So I left it as X. But now it looks odd because everything else says what it is next to it. And that doesn't, and it looks odd. And I don't know what to do with it. It almost looks like this is the button you press to close this down, but it's not. He's really screwed up, isn't he? I don't think Elon Musk thought about this when he decided to change his name to X, because it's the universal sign for close. Like everywhere you look in a browser window, any piece of software, any window in Windows, if you want to shut something down, you hit X. You called your brand that? Weird. Right, Twitter beside the X. Yep, that's probably an option. But it's not, is it? This is the thing. That's why I changed it, because it said Twitter with the old Twitter logo that everybody knows. Now everybody, I don't know. It's just a weird move, isn't it? Elon's off his head. It really is. It's like, I don't know. Anyway. His children named something weird as well, aren't they? Some people are just odd. But then again, richest person on the planet, do what you like. I don't care. Anyway, so I'll be back tomorrow for the member stream. So come in there if you're a member. If you're not a member, if you want to join YouTube, just go to YouTube and you can click on the member section and you can join if you want to. You can see all the past streams going back forever. Oh, I did so all these past streams going back with all the system parameter permutation, testing, strategy development, everything we've done in the member streams is all there if you want to see it anytime. That's this week's one's forecast. So you can go and join in anytime you like. All right, so anything you need, let me know. I'll be in Discord. I'll post updates throughout the day on what's happening with trades, if any of the zones get hit, etc., as I usually do. But other than that, I think this week is going to be a fairly quiet rotational Monday, Tuesday, because we really have got nothing happening. So unless Powell or Bailey or Lagarde say something here, or Trump, obviously. I think we're in rotation Monday, Tuesday, so I don't think we're going to get an awful lot of large moves until Wednesday. So I think it'll be a case of waiting for payday on Wednesday. All right, so have a good one. Anything you need, let me know. Other than that, I will see you next time. Have a good day.